everyone, it's Marisha and welcome to my creative diary. I hope you're having a great day. Get your alcohol inks ready because we're about to create a see-through card. The product that is featured in today's video is from Concord 9th's Everyday Sayings die set. So let's get started. To begin, I'm going to create a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card out of acetate. So right now I'm going to line up the acetate on my cutter to 4 1/4 inches first. And then I'm going to cut the acetate and then I'm going to flip it and then measure out at 11 inches and then cut the acetate there. And then from there, I'm going to score it at 5 1/2 inches. Now it's time for some fun. So I brought in my alcohol inks and I'm going to use Brew Reese's Blush, Ranger's Gold Mixative, Patina, and Gumball. Now I'm going to bring in some alcohol blending solution and I'm going to apply some to the top of the acetate. And then from there, I'm going to bring in my first color of alcohol ink and apply a few drops to the acetate. Once I'm done adding the drops of ink to the acetate, I'm then going to bring in my air blower to apply puffs of air to maneuver the ink on the acetate. Then from there, I'm going to apply the next color, then apply puffs of air, and then so forth until the background is to my liking. If you are new to using alcohol inks, I want to encourage you, or even if you've tried it before and you're just like, don't give up on it. Please don't. Just keep working at it until it's to your liking. That's like with anything. Like for instance, with me and Copic markers, I have been working with them and continuing to do so and practicing different techniques until it's to my liking. And that's with anything in life. You just got to keep going. Don't give up and do not get frustrated. That is not what crafting is about. It is a safe place for us to kind of like a getaway. We already go through things in our daily lives. We don't need to be frustrated while we're creating. We don't. So just have fun. While I'm finishing up my background, I am going to bring in my heat tool to apply a little bit of heat to make sure the ink is dry. I have to be careful because this is not a heat-resistant acetate and I want to prevent warping. Now it's time to work on an inlay technique. So I die cut out the high sentiment and I'm going to place the letters back into the negative space. I am now bringing in the friend die and I'm going to position it over the high. I'm then going to tape it down to make sure that it is secured, and then I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. I am now going to use the same sentiment to cut out of metallic pink cardstock. Now it's time to assemble the sentiment. So I cut out the word hi twice out of white cardstock and twice out of gold cardstock. I'm going to use adhesive glue to stack them together. The vision that I had for this sentiment was to merge the two sentiments, the hi and the friend, together, but to make them look like they were one piece. So that is why I use this inlay paper piecing technique to merge the two together. Finally, to complete this step, I am now adhering the top layer of the sentiment to the bottom. And just to make sure that everything lines up correctly, I'm using a jewel picker as a guide. And there you have it, all done. Now it's time to create a 3x4 top folding card. I'm going to cut it at 3 inches and again at 8 inches. And I'm going to score it at 4 inches. I'm now going to add some adhesive to the back of the card. So I brought in an adhesive sheet from scrapbook.com. I'm going to cut it down and then peel off the backing to the one side and then place it to the back of the card. I'm going to give it a good press, and then I'm going to remove the backing from there and then line it up and then place it on the inside of my card. And as you see right here, I'm lining it up using the grid as my guide, and I'm giving it a good press. Next up, it is time to adhere the sentiment to the front of the card. So I'm using adhesive glue to complete this step, but you can feel free to use adhesive tape. This next step is optional, but for me, in order to prevent the adhesive from showing, I decided to add the sentiment letters to the inside of the card. Finally, to complete this step, I'm going to add a heart above the I on the word friend. And there you have it. This card is done. I love how it turned out. I had to make another one, guys. I couldn't help myself. And check out the back. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. You know what? I think I might call these 360 cards because you can view them from the front and the back. Thank you so much for joining me on today. I appreciate you for stopping by. I hope this video tutorial has inspired you to create. I thank you in advance for subscribing, clicking the thumbs up button, and the notification bell. The products that are featured in this video are listed and linked below. Don't forget to check out my blog at thediaryofbellerose.com. Remember, self-care is the best care, so until next time, please take care.